Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody. So I've had a series of disasters here and I have isolated my problem, and this is something that if you are a DTG printer, you need to learn about this problem that I'm having. So give me just a minute. I need to locate my other iPad so I can talk to you all. All right. What has happened in my DTG printer, I missed a call from somebody out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Not sure who that is. We'll find out here in just a moment. So basically what happens with DTG printers is you have a flow of ink that will come from your ink assembly through the print head, and then you drain ink through your wiper blade. The wiper blade, and I'll bring you over here to show you. The wiper blade actually sits right back here. There's not too much that I can show you, except what I can do is grab another light and bring it right over here. So the wiper blade assembly, as you can see right there, that little piece sticking up is our wiper blade assembly. And let me just grab this light here so I can move it around and we can have some sight here. Give me a second, I'm kind of one-handed. I don't have a helper. This is our wiper blade assembly right here. And let me put this down just for a minute. Sorry about that, everybody. For those of you watching, you're going to appreciate this video. Your wiper blade assembly sits here. That's the wiper blade assembly. And a lot of times what will happen is ink will build up in there, and it'll also build up in this little hole here where this blade drops down and puts ink right down there, as you can see in there. And so what happens is you get this buildup of ink, and that buildup of ink starts getting on your wiper blade because your wiper blade drops down and it drops the ink right in here. And I had to cut this because of the massive amount of ink that I'm getting. And so what I do every now and then, I'll just turn this around or cut a new one. You can go to your local computer store and just buy this stuff, because all of our ink is flowing into the waste ink tube. For me, it's just a bottle. It works perfectly. But then we're stuck with the issue of now there's white ink buildup under this wiper blade assembly. It's really hard to turn this around because I'm not using my cell phone. I couldn't connect. And so I was pulling up a bunch of pieces of ink like this. This is dried ink right here. See if I can get it to focus. So that's all dried ink right here. And what happens is this is very spongy-like material, as you can see. And let me see if I can just kind of put it down here and then show you guys what this is like. You see all that? That's ink. And that builds up into the printer. And if you don't clean that, man, you're going to have prints that are going to fail. Your nozzle checks are going to fail. And when that happens, and you can see up in there, there's white ink. You see that white ink up in there? So I need to clear all that out. And I'll see if I can get under there. I took down my Platen bar, so I'm kind of limited in sight. But we need to clean all of that out. And I can see back on this side. Maybe I can come back over here and show you all. Maybe I can't because of the angle that I'm at. I don't think I can. So, you know, essentially what we have to do is get up under there and clean this. And maybe I can switch that camera around and let you get a good look under there. Maybe if I'm lucky. You should be able to see under that, and maybe not. So anyways, what I'm going to do is clean this out. then we'll run some nozzle checks and we'll kind of see where we're at. I think that's going to solve my problem. And of course, you know, you can't just clean your wiper blade off. Now that's from a white ink issue that I had a few days ago, maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. But honestly, that should be cleaned very, very thoroughly. One reason that I love the Epson DTG printers is they're just so damn easy to work on. I've never, you know, I can't imagine doing this on a DTG M2, or you certainly wouldn't be able to do it on an Epson F2100 or anything, because, you know, they don't want you getting into these spaces here because this is strict money for them. You know, it's a lot of money that they're losing when we do this ourselves. And so if I bring you over here now, let me just bring this right over here, and then I'll lower my video bar so that we can take a look at what I'm doing here. Kind of allows you to get under there with me. It's about the best I can do for you without blocking myself. So, you know, we just want to get up in there and clean all these areas out, get all that dry white ink out of there. And then once we do, I think that that's pretty much going to solve the problem where I was continually losing channels and I was getting frustrated. And dot matrix printer for the win. One Raven says, I'm in hell. Good morning. No coincidence, languages are corrupt. How you doing, One Raven? Have you gotten into DTG printing yet? Have you gotten into printing your own shirts, sharing your own messages? Moreover, have you learned a trade that you didn't know? See, it's one thing to be able to own a DTG printer, right? Because anybody can own a DTG printer. But it's another thing to teach you how the damn printer works and how to tear your printer apart, rebuild it if you need to. Everybody needs at one time to take their printer apart and clean the darn thing out. Once you do that, I'm pretty sure that once I get this mess cleaned up, I'm going to get perfect fired nozzle checks. And I've just got some white ink buildup in there that I'm trying to scrape out of there. Maybe I can't do it with this tool, so I'm going to have to use a scraper, which I have somewhere back here. I think this might be it now. Got so much crap galore back here and I can't see my workstation or what I'm working on, so I got to figure out what the hell I did with this. But you know what, I can get it off with this right here. This is a perfect little tool that I can use. Hopefully you guys can see what I've got going on here. If I can get my stand to straighten up. And I think what I can do is just get in here and use this tool. Oh yeah, it's all coming off now. I'm going to show you as I pull this stuff out of here what is causing, you know, causes every DTG is eventually going to get clogged up with this shit. Sorry for the language, and you know, it's going to cause you a nightmare if you don't clean this out thoroughly, because it's all back in there, and I don't have a device to be able to show you what I'm talking about, but this is under, you know, this is our entire capping station, wiper blade assembly, and I'm going to use these tools right here to pull out. Def Bread, certainly open that printer up and get it printing, man. You find a printer on the side of the street, you know, and you can either repair it and sell it since you got it for free. I need one tool that I put down that I just can't seem to find. It's a very sharp tool. Man, son of a gun, what the hell did I do with it? That's the story of my life, man. I put something down and lose the damn thing. And that's just how I roll. probably walk it over to the other side of the room. Just get all this shit over here put up in a little bucket so I can see what I'm doing back here. This cord I'm just going to wrap right back here. These are more foam tips for cleaning. Those are necessities. Got to have those if you're in the DTG world. You gotta have your, I can probably, oh there it is. This has been a lifesaver for me, and I'm gonna turn this that way because my stand keeps turning. There we go. Gives you a little bit better of a view, everybody. And hopefully I can pick this crap out of here and get that thing to where it's printing correctly. Just all this stuff is built up under there. Shame on me. But you know, I knew eventually I was going to have to do this, so I love to work on printers, man. I really do. Keeps me out of trouble, keeps me from pissing people off. Look at all this buildup, you know. That little buildup right there on my finger, that tiny little, you know, this right here can be the entire reason you can't print. Just some tiny little, you know, speck of dried white ink can destroy you in this industry. You know, because if you get ready to print, somebody comes into your shop and they're like, hey man, I need 40 or 50 shirts and you've got this problem right here. And you have to wait for a technician to show up. Well, good luck on that. You've lost the deal. The guy went down the road. So you have to learn how to clean your own printer. I mean, it's a must. And I just feel really bad for people that buy printers and, you know, they give up and don't want to tear it apart and understand how a printer works. And of course, I had to watch hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of YouTube videos. And by trial and error, you know, I learned what I'm doing. But for a lot of people, there is not that ability. They don't have that ability. You know, they've got a job they've got to run off to. They're not like me. They don't have two wives that, you know, let you learn a trade. You know, and so it becomes very, very, very time consuming. And so I can see right up in there where this problem is coming from, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it with these scissors or these forceps here that I got. Yeah, look right here. So that's more stuff coming off of there. Let's see if I can get it to focus. More stuff right here. All that stuff is just a problem. And I cleaned off a bunch earlier before I started the video, and I was like, shoot, man, this would make a great tutorial. Somebody's having this problem somewhere. I can help them, and that's why I love to make these videos. Even if nobody watches, I know in a year, somebody will be like, man, I'm having a problem, and they'll come across my video and I'll solve their problem. And, you know, that's what it's about, man. It's about helping people. If I help enough people, I'll eventually get what I need out of life. And, you know, this is one of the reasons that a lot of t-shirt printers, they don't want to work with DTG printers. And what they don't realize, man, is that a DTG printer just makes your damn life easier. Beyond the little bit of maintenance you have to do. Sure wish that was smaller. Maybe I can get it with this. I need just a small little piece of tool that I have. I got to scrape all that white ink off there. And it's certainly coming off, I think, that I can go ahead and put this printer back together here in just a minute. I'm just going to do some more thorough cleaning up in that crevice to get that buildup out of there. once I do, I think my printer is going to work flawlessly. Just like brand new, you know. This is the stuff right here that our friend Reyes the Entrepreneur and these guys, they don't want to tell you about. You know, they just want to plug in and go and sell you a $15,000 printer, and, you know, more power to them if that's what they can do, but the average person is not going to be able to afford a $15,000 printer. They're not going to have the credit to do it, nor the cash to buy a printer that expensive. So you have to learn how to maintenance your own printer. And more so than just the standard, you know, cleaning button that your DTG printer says, hey, give me a cleaning, because as you can see in this, man, I'm picking up tons of white ink. I'm scraping it all out of there too. And it's just giving me a fight to come out. It's like, I don't want to come out, I'm home. This is where I live, please leave me alone. But this is actually your wiper blade dump. It's a little channel in there that drops your white ink. And we're going to turn this on here in just a minute. If I can see enough, I'm having trouble seeing where I'm at, because this darn thing has really got some buildup in there. I just got to keep scraping that crap, because eventually it's going to fall out. Eventually that stuff's just going to break off and give me the freedom to print flawless prints. And I think I might be able to do something from above. I can definitely see up in there. See where all of this is coming from. And then we'll put it all together, run a couple of test prints. So much white ink buildup in there, wow. I mean, I'm just looking at a wall of white ink, and I'm going to scrape it out and show you. If I can get this up in there. That is some serious buildup in there. Thankfully, my scraper will help push all that out. If I can get the right angle on it. Seems to be doing the trick there. Kind of having a problem in that, being I'm 45 years old, I'm going blind. And so I have an earnest problem right now, and that's, I can't find my glasses. Alright, so we're going to take an overhead look so you guys can see up in there. And maybe I can bring you over here, pick this up and let you look in there. So as you can see right up in there, you have all that white ink buildup. Not on the blade, but certainly on the blade assembly. You know, we've got some white ink that has had a chance to congeal or dry. And you know, that's the main reason why screen printers hate DTG printers, because if I can move this out of the way here, bank that over there. They don't like these printers because, man, it's a lot of work, you know. See if I can move you over here. Yeah, that gives you a better view right there. And let me check my okay, so what we're going to do is just continue to look over here and see if I can't clean the rest of this assembly out with proper tools, of course. I'm just going to see if we can't get in here and just start giving this thing a bath all the way through there. And once all that dried ink is gone, so what happens is that the blade rides along the blade wall here, if that's a proper term for it. It's just, you know, where the blade releases all of the fluid from the print head. And then what happens is that builds up in there. And then every time the blade drops ink, it picks up the old ink. And that'll cause your channels to go out. It's just a real pain in the A, you know. But it's part of the trade, you know. You got to do it. You got to keep this thing clean. Just the amount of ink that can build up over a year is actually fascinating. I mean, it's just a lot of ink. You think, God dang. Now, this also happens in inkjet printers, you know, so the wiper blade assembly has to be cleaned as well. And most people don't have to go through this severity because their printer's not using white ink. But you know, when you use white ink, man, it's a nightmare. And then here in just a minute, we'll put it all back together again and see if we're cleaned. And right now I'm using alcohol wipes just to kind of clean up in there and see if I can't get a clean assembly wall. And if I can, I still see some white ink all through there. And I put my tool down right here because I need to scrape in there. Once I can scrape this in there, then, you know, getting those little crevices. I want to make sure I'm in the right place. Yeah, all that's coming out of there. Great news. It's all starting to get cleaned, which means I shouldn't have any more issues, but cross my fingers anyways. Let's take a look under there with this light. I want to look up under here and see what I'm looking at. I've got any more white ink buildup, and I think that we're pretty good. There are some places right back here I want to get all that out of. Let's take a look around now and see if I've got any more of that white ink buildup. I do see it up there. So I'm going to use my scraper again and see if I can't scrape that all out of there. Oh yeah, wow, wait till you guys see this here. Holy smoke. Unbelievable. It's pretty embarrassing actually, but it's part of the game. You know, this stuff just builds up and starts to terrorize you, you know. So I've been terrorized by this printer for a couple of weeks. I'm just fighting these damn this one wall that I'm working, I might have to take that off and then reinstall my platen breaker if I can't grab that. But I'm just not going to be able to grab it with this, so look down here and find out what the hell happened to my scraper before I get too concentrated over here. I'm using my iPad and that iPad dies very fast. I mean, it won't even give you notice. It won't even give you a 5% notice. It'd just be like, boom, hey, your battery's dead. I'm turning off. So I'm going to hook this up here. Get this plugged in and save ourselves from passing out on the battery. Great. All right, so we're almost done here. As soon as I find the tool that I was working with, that I put down somewhere, I think that it's going to be right here. What I should be able to do is just reach up and grab that out of there. That's just so freaking much ink. And it's in a really hard to grab place without taking off my wiper blade assembly. It's going to be a tough one to grab, so I got to figure out how to get creative. And then rip that dang thing out of there, but it's in a tough place. Like my son, his little fingers would be able to just reach in there and grab that. Without problem. So let's see if I can't get it with this here. Another tool I'm using. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to need some more ink or some cleaner on that. Let's go ahead and get this out. Look at this. All right, everybody. Look at this piece of nightmare right here. So the printer blade will run up along this, and if you add fluid to it or water to it, it creates like a waterfall of bad ink, you know, that's just falling right into the wiper blade assembly, which goes right up over the print head. And what happens then is that builds up on your print head, and you're unable to get good cleanings. And so what you end up doing by default is you start to run cleanings and it's not working and you can't figure out what's going on. That's just a severe amount of buildup right there, and I'm trying to get all that shit out of there, and it's without pulling out my blade, which I may have to do. Frick. I don't want to do. I mean, I don't know if there's a way that I can literally get into that thing. Yeah, there's got to be a way that I can just see right over that, you know? And there's not really. Damn thing's in a really creative place. But the hell I'm going to get that out, I don't know. All of this is essentially becoming super clean, the way a DTG should operate. We just have a couple of those white buildups. Maybe I can move my capping station back so I can see where exactly that's coming from. And I see already that if I would have turned that on, I would have left piece of cotton in there. We do not want to do that. I'm so glad I didn't turn that on. That would have sucked. Right there, I would have had a destroyed printer. I want to get that out of there if I can see it. We certainly don't want to leave that in there. I see it right there, so I should be able to grab that. If I get outside of this tape roll here. And just pull that out. See that right there? So we're going to just stabilize this one more time. And then what I need to do is find out why this one little area is causing me so much damn problems. Thoroughly clean that ink out in there. Bunch of ink buildup. Okay, and then we're going to take a look one more time. In this little area that I'm looking at. Might have to turn this thing down here. If I can still see this. Let's see if I can view up under this. Find out where the hell that's coming from. It's kind of hard to see. It's really hard to see where in this process right here. And what I don't want to have happen is that roller to just take off and knock my entire printer line offline. That would suck. We just got one more area that I need to get out of there. Yeah, Open Raven Epson P600 is probably the easiest printer I've ever worked on, by far. Because you see it, everything is just open. Once you open up the printer, it's just, you know, everything's viewable. And there's some ink right there. I'm going to show you guys here in a moment. I just picked that up right there. See if you guys can see that. That is just small amounts of ink that are your what I call terrorists. And we're not done yet. So I just want to look under here and see where the hell that's coming from because, you know, I've just got like one more piece of ink to solve to get out of there and then I can call it quits. But I've got to be able to see up under there. A second ago I was able to see perfectly under there. And that's not the case now. Having a little trouble seeing up under this damn printer. I just need to get that crap out right there. If I can. And I mean to tell you, it is fighting the hell out of me. I can see it there maybe now. If I can find my force or my little scissors I had. They're right here. I should just be able to grab that thing from this angle. Gotta be careful. The printer doesn't come offline over here, which it could, so. I just have one more little piece of ink to get off and then I can print. But I gotta tell you, it's a booger to get to. And once I get to it, another thing that sucks about my apartment is that there's no good lighting. The lighting in here is terrible. And man, I am right there on this damn thing. up in it, and I'm unable to grab it from this angle. Let's try right here. Son of a bitch. Sorry for the language, people. This is starting to really piss me off. Do I have it? Yeah, I had it right on there. It's just I cannot see up in there. The reason I can't see up in there is because this damn breaker bar right here, and I may just have to take it off, but I'm trying not to. And if I can just grab this thing or twist it backwards or down enough that I can scrape that thing off, I'll be golden. I'm right there at the final piece, and it's very hard to get to without tipping this whole printer over upside down. Like I said, my son would be able to just, oh, you know what'll work perfectly? My weeding tool. So we're going to use this to pull that out of there. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Probably won't be able to reach up in there anyway. So let's go ahead and see if I can get that area. I'm right on it. About to pull that thing out of there. I got you. You're coming out now. Yep. It's not going to last too much longer. I'm about to show you what's causing me so much problem. Golly, that's just a huge piece of white ink buildup in there. Oh yeah, we can pretty much call this repaired. Look at this. You guys see this? So my wiper blade assembly is just hitting all that crap right there. So what I'll do is I'll just, since you can see the tape roll, I'll just leave that right there for you. And for some reason I seem to be losing battery. Hold on a minute. Why am I not charging? What the hell's going on here? How's that? If I didn't take a look back there, boy, we would have lost battery and I'd have lost a great tutorial. And now I've got a clean shot to what I'm looking for over here. And I should just be able to continue to grab all this white ink buildup back here, pull it out, and give my printer new life again. So while I'm doing that, I'll just go ahead and clean off my white ink can be the death to any printer, literally. Let's go ahead and get this thing cleaned up in there, and hopefully that's gonna flush that damn area out up there and give me my life back. I'm looking and I don't see any more white ink in there, just along the wall here, but I think I can scrape that out as we're doing here. I just want to make sure I get all the ink out of those crevices that could possibly continue to build up. And if we do that, we're golden. Then my wife's printer is going to work perfectly. Now let me just scrape out a little bit more up there. Let's see if we can get this shit out of here. Like we're doing, all that white ink is just coming out now. I scrape that wall there. So, and it looks like, I think I pretty much got it done. Now just for safety, I'm going to run some alcohol swabs up in there. I can't clean out all that excess. Like here, just want a clean wiper blade channel down there so that you go back through and start printing again. None of that shit's building up or catching. Oh wow, I just see right over here some more. Damn. Just when you think you're done, you take another look and there's more. Oh yeah. Got layers. That's a lot of build up in there. Best part is that's a lot of build up coming out of there. Not going to cause me any more problems, at least for a couple of months. Yes, so see, I'll just continue to put this stuff right up on there. Let you guys see what I'm talking about. And there should not be any white ink back there, I don't think. I'll keep scraping away to see. Looks like it may be, but all this is going to get cleaned out over here. Never torment me again. Tormenting Brother Ernest is not allowed. Use a little bit more cleaning solution. So, you know, in the DTG world, people think they can just scrape their DTG blade, but no, you've got to clean the entire path. You've got to clean that entire channel out, and if you don't, you're going to have massive buildup, especially if you end up printing as much as I do. This stuff will just start to gang up on you and cause you problems because it'll be all up in your everywhere up in that DTG. Lines will get all over the printer head. And so right now I'm just putting a dump load of cleaning solution up there, and I'm trying to just get in those crevices so that I'm not worried about that anymore, because let me come over on this side, take a look. Looks like we are making some serious progress. I just want to look under there, make sure we got all that ink out of that dropper assembly there. And if it is, we'll go ahead and fire up and run some test prints. But I think that we're going to be solid here, so. All of that's got ink down there. Oops, we don't want to pull that out, that's for sure. But there's a ton of ink buildup in there. So make sure that that is not ink that I'm trying to pull away. And wow, that's a lot of ink in there. So we're going to take and turn it over here. Sure we don't have any white ink buildup in that thing over there. And over here, I think we're solid with that because that's the only place the wiper blade drops. So I'm going to get a good cleaning up against this wall here. We want to make sure that there is no white ink over there. So I'll use this little tool right here. I need to find my scraper tool, which is sitting perfectly under my alright, so we just want to put that down right there like this. Hopefully it won't roll too far, but I think I've got it, so it's not going to go anywhere. So let's see if I can't get back in here and scrape along that area. Get rid of that white ink. All right, man, I'm telling you, I think we're done. I'll look up in there some more. I don't see any more white ink in there. I see some right there, so I'm going to try to get that out of there. See if I can't maneuver this thing to clean that out. Got it. We're good there. I do believe that we're solid. I don't see any ink buildup in there. We're going to go ahead and lower this. Going to want to put this back. My little ink assembly drop here. Tuck that really good in. Go ahead and put this down, lower it onto its base. Come and look from above so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, that's safe now. We are locked on, and that's all the ink that came off of my fingers. All right, let's go ahead and put this back on its one more screw, and we can go ahead and it's another reason why I think if you get a DTG printer, everybody, that you should get a printer that will allow you to you know, work with the case off, because you know, you want to be able to constantly take that case off and look and see what you're doing. This is the wrong screwdriver. Funny, I should have 3 screwdrivers. God dang it. Kind of funny because I had a damn 3rd screwdriver over here that was magnetic. Somewhere in the hustle of all this, I lost the damn thing. Wonders never cease when it comes to me. I can have a screwdriver in my hand, turn around and lose it in a heartbeat. Which is why I have about 10 screwdrivers. Screwdrivers are the heartbeat of this business. Without it, you will find your life in so much misery. All right. So we are fine here. Printer's back. Looks like my head's going to move level. Just going to take this, turn it. I'm going to give it a good bath over here. Got to look for the right tool. A little scraper would be perfect for this. If I figure out what the hell I did with it just now. 95% of my time is looking for shit I just put down. Yep, it looks like I've got a clean area back here. This is great news. I think we can go ahead and print and get this moved. Oh, want to move that wiper blade down just far enough that it can turn on, print. Everything's should be ready to go to print. Give us a test print to see. Here's my screwdriver. Alrighty then, let's go ahead and put the face back on. Let's see if I can get some clean wiper blade movement out of this. That'll be so fortunate for me. What the hell I'm bumping into down here. So now we're going to have to put the Platen Height Bar on again. That's very simple. Should have my screw sitting right in here, so we're going to go ahead and put the first one on. Lock that thing into place, but first, before I need to do that, it's easier to put the back one on because there's a little breaker bar in here that I have to perfectly match up and push from underneath. Make sure that I've got this thing set in here properly, at least for starting. And once I can do that, I can just go ahead and slide that into its lock assembly. And I think we're good there. We want to get out of the way of the plug here. So I've got the plug in the way. Screw that in as such so that you have to get a base on here. So that one will lock into place. Now we'll throw the second one into place, and I think we're going to be solid. So Platen Bar 1 is on. I need to adjust Platen Bar 2 back here. In order to do so, I've got to move my platen out of the way. So I can get a view here of what the hell I'm doing or not doing. Take a look at my Platen Bar now, and I should be level, and I do believe that I am. I'm just going to want to move this upward a bit with the right tool. So where is my, this would probably work right here if I get over that. There. That's what I needed to do. Now we're level. And I should just be able to screw that in. Okay, that's ready to go. Let's lock this part in. Another thing that I like about the P600 is that the case can remain off and you can still print perfectly, you know, without having any issues. So let's go ahead and see what's going to happen once we turn this on. Hopefully we're all level here. All of our parts are in place. Let's go and plug this in. We're going to fire up. See, the print head is rolling now. I think maybe 1 or 2 cleanings and I'll be back to normal. All this ink here was a massive buildup, as you can see, just many pieces that I'm finding. All that is ink buildup, and that's your nightmare in this business. All right, good news. See where my battery's at? I'm gonna go ahead and move us over to the other area. That was almost a nightmare. Bear with me just a second, I'll get us moved to the other station. I'm pretty sure this has solved our problem. Love to say that it did, but we'll find out here in just a moment. All right. Yeah, you know, I can't have a 3D printer in here because of the smell. And, you know, honestly, in my opinion, 3D printers, they're cool to have, but they're not very cool to sell things with because it takes a long time. It takes like, I don't know, 28 minutes to build a Lego piece on a 3D printer. Just one Lego piece, 28 minutes, and that's not worth it to me. Alright, so this will turn on here in just a moment. I'll run a head cleaning through it. Got all that ink built up under there that I really hate this kind of tape. You guys hate this tape too? I can never find the lead to it. Alright, so we've gone from several days of this problem and we're going to see what happens right now. You should make traveling is a right. I do have a video of traveling. I don't know if you've seen it. Just look up Pastor Ernest traveling as a sovereign. I don't do it anymore because it's just not valuable to me. For one, you can't get far down the road. And I just don't think that the police are going to begin to respect that at all, so I gave up. I called it a ball. This is all about the print life, people. A few more of these little cleaning the print head, 2 more runs of this, and then we'll fire it up. I think I already see a clean nozzle check coming. Yeah, I think we're going to be ready to go. One more and we'll find out if we're ready. Alright, so my whites have come out fine. Don't know if you all can see this. Maybe if I aim it down at the ground you can. My whites have come out fine. So now I just need to work on my red. Now we're going to lift this up. One more cleaning, and I think we're going to be good to go. Just want to get up under here and look at my print head. See if we're getting a good nozzle check under there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Kind of cool to watch. A lot of people don't get to see how a printer works, so I'm just going to put this down for a minute. Kind of redirect my light. Here, see if you guys can see up under there. It's pretty cool to watch. I'm using the Epson adjustment program. See what's happening up here. The print head is moving out of the capping station. I'll have to do just probably one cleaning manually on that. Get all that buildup off there that was in the wiper blade assembly. We're about halfway through. Let's watch it spray. It'll do it twice. There goes the red. Here comes the white. and the yellow and the black. It's going to race back over. There's a red. There's a white. I just want to get some of that buildup off there. I saw a little hair on it. There goes the white. Here's a black, and now comes a red. And there's the red. You guys saw that red there. Perfect. All right. Let's see what happens. We should have a better result than what we've had a few times here. Almost dropped my iPad. Okay, that concludes the video. Problem is solved. 75 minutes is the time it took. So let's hope that that never happens again. All right, everybody, it's Brother Ernest, Boston 1 Hour Hoodie and Tees, liveeventprinting.com, teaching you how to clean the wiper blade assembly. Give me a like on Facebook. Send me a message, let me know how I can help you, and we will hopefully be able to answer your printing questions. So long, everybody.